Hey guys, we're back at it. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about cracking rocks. So one of the things I've heard people talk about is that it is impossible to crack some rocks in a prospector, and that's not true. I'm going to show you today quickly how to crack any rock. Now, the first thing we should talk about a little bit is how to load your prospector. It used to be that the mining laser, the only mining laser worthy of note was the Helix. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but at some point they have nerfed the Helix. It is not as good as it used to be. So I don't even use it anymore. Instead, I am using the Lancet. So the Lancet, oops, didn't mean to click that. The Lancet, the nice thing about it is that it has this -75 instability and -75 resistance. That's huge, really helpful. Plus the optimum charge window is increased by 40%. The reason why everyone was loving the Helix before is because the optimum charge window would also increase, but it wasn't as big, but it was more powerful. It just seemed like it was the way to go. But now it sucks. I don't know what they did. So the Lancet is the way to go, even though it's not the most expensive option. It's the one you want to use. And you still have 3 sub-item slots, just like on the Helix. There are 3 sub-items, and of which I only used 2. The first sub-item, I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of different sub-items you can use, but the one that I use the most is easily Surge. Surge is a fantastic sub-item because it allows you to put a very huge impulse of instant. You can see your duration instant, 40% hit. Boom. You just put a bunch of charge into the rock, no matter how long it takes. And so with that, you can actually break any rock. And then I will occasionally use the Optimum consumable, which it's really nice because the way the Optimum consumable works is it will increase the charge window by 70%. So it makes it a much bigger charge window. That's really only useful on things like Quantanium, which by their very nature have a very small charge window to begin with. So let's go put this to practice, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, realistically, as always, the hardest part is finding the right place to go to mine. I really haven't solved that yet. I typically still go to Yella, but my starting place is no longer Port Olisar. Instead, I'm here at CRUL1, which is one of these beautiful rest and relax stations that is also the mining hub, where you will bring your ore back to get it harvested. Harvested is not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Refined. There we go. You'll bring your ore back here to get it refined. And I made a video a while back about how it's not worth refining. Yeah, it is. It is. Go ahead and refine it. So for this test, I don't really care what the rock is. I was actually looking for a big rock with a high mass. The mass is the trick. The higher the mass, the harder the rock will be to break. But even a lone prospector, and as you can see, I'm alone, a lone prospector can crack any rock. Now, this particular rock with a mass of 4,200 is easy to crack. You'll see that I can slowly sit here and charge up the laser over on the right, and it will slowly trickle up. If I move back a little, what I can actually do is simulate a harder rock by limiting the amount of laser energy that's actually imparting to the rock. You can see at this distance, it's really not actually moving up at all. And so that's something you can use, is you can actually use a simple trick of moving in and out to control how much power is imparting into a rock. And once you get to a certain point, you want to use the surge. So Alt F1, boom, have some surge, and look what it did. Our energy level shot right up into the optimum range where I'm going to see it. And instead of controlling my laser power by using my mouse wheel, which is where I have it set, I just move in and out. Or sometimes another way, if it gets a little high, just move the laser off the rock and back on the rock. And you can see on this rock, we don't need to use the Optimum consumable because this particular rock is an easy rock to crack. Once you have the first crack, once you've broken the rock the very first time, From there, it's easy pickings. You don't have to use any consumables again. Let me try to find a harder rock and show you how to use both the Surge and the Optimum.
6.5 hours later.
All right, so here's a great example of a very high mass rock. So this rock is 7,711 on the mass, and that's really important. That's the number you need to worry about, because a lot of people will tell you that these rocks that are 6,500 to 9,000 is as high as I've ever seen are uncrackable by a prospector, and that's just not true. Now, I'll be honest with you, this rock is kind of crap. I wouldn't normally mine this rock, but I'm just going to crack it open. So, max laser. You'll note the charge level kind of isn't moving. As I get in here real close, real close, here we are. Okay, there we are. We're touching the rock. Charge level, not moving. I'm going to back up just a touch. And I'm going to use a Surge consumable. Now, the intent here is I want to use the Surge. I'm going to pump a bunch of power in it. I'm going to lower my laser amount so the Surge comes back down, and then the power comes down, and then I'm going to use Surge again to get me up in the optimum range. So we're going to do that now. So Alt-1 to fire the Surge. Boom, you'll see the power came up. I'm going to lower my power to let it come down a little. And then back up, Alt-3 to use the other Surge. Boom, we're all the way up in. Alt-2 to use consumable. I made the green wide. I'm going to get real close to it to make sure that we stay in there for as long as possible, because range does matter. And you'll see I'm slowly cracking this rock. You can do this with every rock power level, by the way. Just before it blows up, you need to back up. Otherwise, it could potentially hurt you. In fact, I'm going to put all shields forward. Come on. Oh, almost. There it goes. Backing out. And there we go. Boom. We've cracked it. This is how I crack big rocks. This is a big rock that typically a prospector shouldn't be able to crack, but you can. Now, again, this rock is garbage, so I'm going to ignore it. I think there was Terminite on it. Yeah, I might look at it. Nah. I'm going to go find a better rock. And here you can see I am flying away from yellow with my bounty in tow. And I would say that I have heard a number of people say that they prefer mining in a mole versus a prospector. I personally prefer the prospector. However, I can certainly see the advantage of the mole over the prospector, and that is just in the volume of ore that it can carry. The simple fact of the matter is the mole can't carry a lot. Or, I mean, I'm sorry, the prospector can't carry a lot. And that's just the price you kind of pay for the convenience of not having to get in and out of your seat constantly, which is something that you're going to do if you're in a mole. Now, most people say they want to use the mole because the mole will crack rocks since it has a size 2 laser head that the prospector can't crack. I have yet to find a rock that I cannot crack. And like I said, if you use this simple, very simple technique of Surge and Optimium, or I'm not sure how I think it's just Optimum. If you use those subcomponents, those will do all the work you need to do. And in theory, with the new subcomponent modules that are coming out in the next patch, it should get even easier. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to share that with you. You can crack any rock that the mole can crack. You can do it in a prospector. It is entirely possible. It's just about learning to use those subcomponents. Surge is the best, and like I said, the other one I use, Optimum, is primarily situational based on how difficult that particular rock is being. I really haven't found a good value for the other subcomponents. I'm sure there is a purpose to them. I just haven't really figured it out yet. So with that, guys, I'm gonna go sell all this off, make fat loots, and come back and do it again. I'll see you next time. Wow, dude. Oh my God, that haircut. You are rocking it. I missed my elevator. Worth it. Jeez.